Hey, Undisputed listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com now. Let's start the show. Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. I am excited for the show. Good morning, guys.
Today, I got GOAT on GOAT on GOAT. GOAT's on full display. And Shannon Sharp, I remember the Chicago Tribune headline the day after Michael Jordan won his 6th championship, 6-0 in the NBA Finals. It was the joy of 6. The joy of 6 cases. I've got the joy of 6 cases of Diet Mountain Dew today. You know, for what Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. did yesterday, I got to give this a standing ovation. Way to go, Tommy. Woo!
You know what, Skip? I was going to have to pause because had my homeboy lost, I don't know who they'd had to fill in, but I wouldn't come today.
Bring on my homeboy. Bring on the topic, Jenny. Let's
you weren't gonna
get to it.
Shannon, don't worry. We'll get to you.
Yeah, I know he's feeling good right now.
We will talk about Aaron Rodgers and his future. But Skip, if you want to say it with me, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady is heading to another Super Bowl. Brady started out hot, passing for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half and a 21-10 lead. Rodgers and the Packers to make it a 1-score game, but they opted to kick a field goal with 2 minutes left instead of going for it on 4th and goal and never got the ball back. So Shannon, what is the biggest reason the Bucs won this game?
Their defense stepped up again. Their defense was spectacular when they needed to be, and that's why it's so difficult to win championships in football, because it really takes all 3 phases. It takes your special teams, your offense, your defense, and especially if one of those units is not playing particularly well. Now, Tom Brady and the offense played extremely well in the first half, gave them some cushion, and then in the second half, when he turned the ball over 3 times, they shut the door. Three quicks. I think they went 2 and out. 3 and out, Skip. And that was really the difference in the ball game. I thought Aaron Rodgers played well, but he didn't play great when he needed to play great, Skip. You needed to cash one of those turnovers in and get 7 points. Like Tampa did against you. They cashed your turnovers in. They got 14 points. You got 3 takeaways. You got 6 points. If someone had told me that they're going to coach Tom Brady into 3 turnovers, and they're going to lose this game, I wouldn't have believed them. I said, if Tom Brady turns the ball over 3 times, this is going to be a blowout in Green Bay's favor. But the defense, I underestimated just how good the ferocity of Tampa's pass rush. Shaq Barrett showed why they franchise tagged him, gave him $19 million. JPP, Skip, they were relentless on the edge. So you took it, and I think the thing is that what I overestimated is that I look at the job that they did against the Rams, but the Rams' pressure does not come from the edges. It comes from the inside, and their best inside interior rusher, Skip, was banged up. So that's me. I overestimated how good the tackles were, because what happened is the right tackle that's playing left tackle should have been your right tackle, and your right tackle that's starting should have been your swing tackle, Skip, or the guy that can play either side if one of those guys get hurt. But give those guys credit. The Packers, 2 TDs on 4 drives inside the 10-yard line, Skip. That's the difference in the ball game. And this year in the red zone, the Packers hadn't been good, Skip. They had been historically great. Devontae and Aaron has been historically great in that area. And yesterday they came up blank. Aaron is going to look back and he's going to look at this game. and he's going to say the one that he threw, I think he tried to force it in there to, I don't know, I think it was maybe Adams or Lazard. I don't remember, Skip. But he had clear sailing to the right. He had looked inside.
To Devontae. At the goal line. Yep.
He had him, Skip. He had him right where he wanted him. He looked inside so everybody, and when he was going to throw the ball, JPP stopped. So now all you got to do is race Ndamukong Suh from the back. Give the Bucs credit. They came out, they jumped on him early, but I thought really the telltale, Skip, is 8 seconds on the clock, right before the half. I don't know why Mike Pettin would call a single high safety, lead the guy one-on-one. In a situation like that, you say nothing cheap, nothing deep. Nobody gets over your head. Skip, if you study tape, what does Tom Brady like to do right before the half? He's going to take a shot. Remember against the Vegas Raiders? What did he do, Skip? Right before the half. He's going to take one shot.
He doesn't do it every time, but he has a history of it.
He says, because he's thinking like this, Skip. I can get a big play or I get a PI, which will be the equivalent of, I'm going to make sure it's not going to get intercepted because I'm going to throw it over your head. And boom, that deflated him. And then you come out, your first drive of the second half, you get the turnover. And what should have been a 14-10 going into the half, Skip, all of a sudden it's 28-10. Give the Buccaneers credit. They did an outstanding job defensively. They held on. They covered. That defense, again, covered for Tom Brady because I don't think Tom Brady played. He didn't play well. He played great the first half, but he was a dud the second half. But the Bucs defense came to play, and they did an outstanding job on Aaron Rodgers in the red zone.
My turn.
You see it differently?
First, I'm going to go big picture.
Okay.
I just want our viewers out there, our fans out there, especially our younger fans, to step back and try to behold what just happened. Try to let it all spill into your psyche and comprehend what just got pulled off. Tom Brady, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., at age 43, the GOAT just went to Lambeau Field and outplayed the man I call the phony GOAT on his own frozen tundra in an NFC Championship game. The GOAT, the greatest New England Patriot ever, who got pushed out the back door by his quote-unquote GOAT coach, said this: I'm going to go join the Succaneers, the franchise with the worst winning percentage in sports history, and I'm going to take a team that went 7-9 last year, albeit a talented team with 2 Pro Bowl wideouts, and I'm going to teach them, and I'm going to inspire them, and I'm going to instill in them the Patriot way in what I call Tampa Bay, and we're going to go on a run. And they went on an unprecedented run on the road as a wild card team against 3 straight top 10 defenses. At Washington, 2nd in yards allowed. At New Orleans, 4th in yards allowed. That's in the regular season. And then yesterday, culminating in the NFC division or bracket, at Green Bay against the team that allowed the 9th fewest yards, so another top 10 defense, but a pass defense ranked 5th overall by Pro Football Focus. So just for the record and perspective, while LeBron was able to dodge the Clippers in the bubble and then get the Heat without Dragic and without their heart and soul Bam, who got hurt in game 1, obviously both, and lost mostly for the rest of the finals, Brady just did it the hardest way. Road, to get to a home Super Bowl. And I told you from the start, he saw this as his greatest opportunity to be the first team ever to play in a home Super Bowl. And by golly, he just pulled that off. He did it at age 43. He took this team that didn't know how to win, and he taught them how to make more plays than the number 1 seed on the frozen, hallowed tundra of Lambeau Field.
While he was showing them how to win, he was gagging in the second half.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
well, I'm going to get to gagging because I'm going to show you what you missed, what points you missed. So let's talk first about the first half, shall we? Tom Brady simply played the greatest first half of his whole playoff life yesterday at Lambeau Field. He threw for 202 yards. And you know what he knew he had to do? They've been getting off to slow starts all year long. See the Mahomes game back on November 28th, which we're about to talk full bore about, when Tom got off to a horrendously slow start, but then came back like gangbusters. But in this game, he knew the psyche of Aaron Rodgers is you cannot let him front run on that frozen tundra, because if you do, he will run you out of that building, that hallowed building. So he said, I'm going to set the tone. I'm going to send a message to my team and to the Packers. I'm going to take this game over in the first half. And did he ever, against the 5th-ranked Pats defense by Pro Football Focus? If we could just see what happened on the opening drive of the game, he just goes right down the field and he goes 3rd and 4. This is actually 3rd and 7. That's to Mike Evans. And then this is 3rd and 4 to Chris Godwin. And then 3rd and 9 to Mike Evans for a touchdown. It's 3 straight, fairly 3rd and longs that he completes and converts. And it smacked of what he did in overtime at Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, except this time he's setting the tone against Aaron Rodgers in this game, the NFC Championship game, by putting Aaron on his heels, making him fight, making him doubt, making him think, I gotta, because this guy's coming after me in my own house. We saw what happened to Aaron Rodgers when they came after him after he jumped to a 10-0 lead at Tampa Bay. He folded like a lawn chair at a Tampa retirement home. And Brady knows if you keep the heat on him, he will come apart. And I believe Aaron Rodgers came apart in the 4th quarter of this game, thanks to the early onslaught, 202 passing yards in the first half. And then the defense set the tone. Obviously, Jordan Whitehead makes a play early, if we could see it in the second half, and dislodges the ball from Aaron Jones. And Devin White scoops it and didn't quite score with it, but got it all the way down to 1st and goal at the 8. Here it is. This is the tone setter for the 3rd quarter. Devin White almost took it home, but he got it to the 8. Is this not ominous because it's 1st and goal at the 8? What was about to happen to the Packers' 1st and goal at the 8? And Brady on 1st down, I tweeted this immediately. I said, under center play action to Gronk, except he went under center play action to Brady.
Right.
Touchdown. So they score on their first play, and that made them 2 for 2 in the red zone, while Aaron was about to go 2 of 4 in the red zone.
It was very deflating because they score on their last possession before the end of the half, and then they don't even get the ball.
Boom. Kaboom. So now all of a sudden it's 28-10 and Aaron's in scramble mode. But the Buccaneers get another bad break. They were obviously without AB, Antonio Brown, but the shock to me was right before kickoff, I hear that, what? They're without Antoine Winfield Jr. I don't know what happened, but in practice, he turned his ankle, and it must be so bad he couldn't go yesterday. Maybe in 2 weeks, he'll be able to go in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Antoine Winfield Jr. is a rookie out of Minnesota, a second-round pick who simply became the leader and quarterback of the defense. I thought he should be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Chase Young's going to run away with it, but whatever. To them, he's their Defensive Rookie of the Year. And he is the eyes and ears and sort of heart and soul of the defense. And wait a second, he's gone for Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau? And then, speaking of Jordan Whitehead, the other starting safety, the next play after he dislodged the one from Aaron Jones, he runs into Jamal Williams, and he flipped him, but he also hit him so hard with his shoulder, it knocked his shoulder down. And I don't know how bad it is, but he was lost for the rest of the game.
But the guy that came in, I mean, even though Winfield Jr. didn't play, Edwards, who had the pick last...
Mike Edwards is pretty good because he's a third-round pick.
Yeah, because remember, he got the pick last week.
He does.
He got the pick against Rodgers in the first game.
He's played very little, but in sparing time that he has played, he has made a couple of plays.
Made big plays.
But Andrew Adams is the other backup. He's just a journeyman. He was undrafted out of UConn by the Giants, played for the Giants for a little while, then Tampa, then got cut by Tampa and is on his second tour of duty with Tampa. So all of a sudden, I got Mike Edwards, who's barely played National Football League football, and I got Andrew Adams as the two safeties against Aaron Rodgers in an NFC Championship game. It's like throw a party, Aaron. Here we go.
They did a great job, Skip. They did a great job of jumping, playing single high safety, playing straight cover 2, playing 22 man. And for whatever reason, they were generating. You can play these coverages, Skip, because Shaq Barrett and JPP were relentless. Let's give those guys credit. Shaq Barrett had 3, Mooch had 3 sacks yesterday. JPP had 2 sacks. They were relentless in their pressure.
By the way, Green Bay's pass block rate yesterday, where you winning pass block rate was only 52%. It was by far their lowest of the season.
Well,
and I told you they were going to miss their stud left tackle. He's the best left tackle in football, David Bakhtiari. They missed him yesterday.
Yes.
Because I didn't see Todd Bowles blitz nearly as much as I thought he would because they were getting home with 4.
And when they brought the blitz, they kept bringing that same blitz. They kept bringing Bunny Murphy. And Skip, what they would do, they would sneak the back out and decide that he would come. They're like, don't worry about blocking.
It never seemed to really matter that much.
They got 1 first down off of it, but other than that, Devin White did a great job of scraping over the top. And Skip, but that's what you have to do. Look, the thing is that when you get these turnovers against Brady, you got to cash them in. You can't kick field goals and beat his team.
Okay, so here's Tom Brady's mindset. Once both starting safeties are out, remember, he is the ultimate game manager, as in, I'm playing chess to your checkers. So Tom Brady knows that at Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers with no safeties, backup safeties, I got to make one more big play to even this, to keep it a level playing field. So what does he try to do right away? He's going to go to Mike Evans because Jair Alexander has taken him mostly man the whole game, solo, single man. And who is the jump ball king of the NFL? It's Mike Evans. So Brady is saying, I'm going to throw one up because maybe we can get a big PI or maybe I can just get a jump ball circus catch from Mike Evans. So 2 of them that he tries. If we could see the 3, let's see the 3 interceptions in a row. The middle one is different, but the first one, he just throws a jump ball up.
They were bad.
And Amos just says, I got this. Here are the Brady interceptions. The first one is, okay, I'm going to just let him try to go get this and make a play. And Amos, he tried to look him off with his eyes, and Amos wasn't biting. Then the second one, this is the one that got me because this is a ball. Mike Evans, if you're Mike Evans, you're 6 feet 5 inches tall. You got to do better than that.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, when you're running full speed.
And there's the third one. He just threw a jump ball up, and Mike couldn't find it. He just thought Mike could go up over Jair and get a pass interference.
Well, the thing was, Leonard Fournette, he stepped up. He shouldn't have stepped up. He should have stepped out. That's your guy, Leonard.
And he got a free runner, corner blitzer right in his face.
Well, I just think the thing is, Skip, is that even if you make those mistakes, you got to make those mistakes further out of bounds. The one that he threw, the first one he threw to Amos, if you're going to make that mistake, you got to make that throw where it's going out of bounds.
I know what he was thinking. He's thinking, I got Mike Evans, and he's got 5 inches of height on Jair. Maybe I can get him one where he'll just break inside and go up and snatch it. Amos didn't take the bait, and so Amos was the one who came over and made the play. So my point is, he tries 3 times. But back to your point, I told you that defense got brought to a boil in December. It's a defense that I didn't think could stand up to anybody because it got torched repeatedly. So with 2 backup safeties, to your point, Aaron Rodgers has got to come up much bigger at home in the fourth quarter.
He cashes one, Skip, it's a different ball game.
Okay, I completely agree. And by the way, they tried the 2-point conversion throw, and guess who got his fingertips on the ball was Sue, Ndamukong Suh.
Skip, that was a drop. He dropped the ball.
Okay, but the ball gets tipped. It gets tipped offline.
But it did not change his eye trajectory because he's looking at the ball. The ball hits him in his hand, and he's thinking about the celebration he's about to do. And you watch.
Here it is.
Yeah, Sue tips it. Look at this.
Yeah.
It hit right in his hands.
No, I agree. The trajectory, the line got knocked a little off target. So it's a huge play. So it stays. Obviously,
it's a 5-point
game instead of a 3-point game. But then what happens? What is the golden moment, goat to goat play that actually puts the icing on top of this game? Well, guess what? It's Brady to Gronkowski. It's the only play Gronk made the whole game, and it's the fakes double screen, to Scotty Miller, fake Scotty to the right and flip it back to Gronk, and here he comes freight training. And he freight trains for 29 huge yards, and all of a sudden, you're within field goal range. And they wind up, Brady just tried to be ultra careful on the next 2 throws. He had Godwin on the boundary, but he just said,
you got to make that throw. That wasn't
Nope.
He's wide open.
This is the GOAT. This is the GOAT. You just say, nope, I'm not even going to try it.
What you mean you don't try it? A wide open guy?
Shannon Sharp says, "Oh, you got a pick six. You threw the game away."
The guy's wide open.
Sorry. That's what. No, he's not. No, you got a corner break, and you're not going to do it. He's going to throw this ball out of bounds because you know what? You got your three.
Skip.
The game is slipping away. You got your three. Skip. You're wrong. You are dead wrong.
I'm dead right.
You don't get the GOAT. The GOAT is playing chess to your checkers, and he has been for 4 years on this show.
He's playing GOAT to my checkers.
Yep.
Kenny King has gotten torched for 2 touchdowns and 3 big plays. All of a sudden,
you don't want to give him a pick six.
Don't do that.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to give him a pick six.
Look, here's the thing. Skip, Tom Brady is great. But see, when you make excuses like this, people look at this.
It's not an excuse. I don't care what people say. I know what he knows.
How you know what he knows?
Okay, I can see it. I know how he thinks. They've got 3.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so they sit there. Well, did they get a 46-yard field goal? Help me out. Was it suddenly 31-23? Was that not an 8-point cushion?
He could have got a first down.
Didn't matter. He's not going to risk it. He's not going to risk a pick six, so you'll be all over him. He's throwing pick sixes.
He
lost the game, says Shannon Sharp. Nope, he won the game.
Let me get this right.
Yep.
He don't want to risk it in that situation, but he throws a pick to Mike Evans. Oh, I just think Mike can jump up and get it.
Okay.
Oh, he throws another one to Mike Evans. I think Mike can get it. He throws another pick.
How risky are those jump ball picks? Because if they catch it, you can tackle them. On that throw to the boundary, if Kenny King undercuts it and picks it, good night, Irene. He's going the other way, and you're dead. You're going to lose the game.
I just want to make sure I'm hearing you.
You heard me exactly right, and you know I'm right.
I want to make sure I hear you correctly. The most clutch quarterback, the most clutch player.
Who won the game?
See,
who won the game?
That's your only out. He can play terrible as long as he won the game. Anybody else, when LeBron James plays terrible, he wins the game. But you show me all these stats in the fourth quarter. You show me missed free throws. You show me missed threes.
Did they kick the field goal? Yeah,
Skip.
They kicked the field goal.
Skip, I'm not arguing that.
Wow.
I'm saying, you keep saying Tom Brady wanted to miss that throw. Tom Brady got tight.
Now,
just say Tom Brady got tight, and he did.
Let's talk about the real gagger. Let's talk about the phony GOAT, shall we? Let's talk about the guy you say is better than Tom Brady, which is the biggest laughable blasphemy ever uttered on this show. This guy gags repeatedly. This guy is now 1-4 in NFC Championship games where he has unraveled in every one of them, including this one. Yes. Aaron Rodgers was 4 of 11 in the fourth quarter. You like that? And what happened after they got it 1st and goal at the 8? He goes, if we could see it, incomplete. I don't know what that was. I don't know what it was.
Well, it was a fake screen, and what you come supposed to look for.
And here's the running play, and that's the second play. Now, here's the one where you say he should have run. I'm not sure he could have scored, but I am sure he could have
scored.
Oh, he's got both those. Do you see those 2 backers standing there? Do you see Devin White?
Skip, look at
Aaron Rodgers can't outrun Devin White. He would have broken. Okay, here's my point. He could have gotten to the 2. I don't think he could have scored, but he could have gotten to the 2. Does that not change the dynamic?
I believe he'd have scored because Skip, look, he's looking inside.
Okay.
There's no way Devin White can catch it. I know Darren got speed, but Skip, he can't catch it from there because he hold him inside with his eyes. Look at this.
Okay, whose fault is this? Oh, it's Aaron bleeping Rodgers' fault.
I didn't skip. I'm not second guessing this. I tweeted immediately. Aaron got to race him to the corner.
Okay, so let's say you get to I'll give you to the 1. I don't think he would have scored, but whatever. If you get it to the 1 or the 2, what's going to happen on 4th down? Well, obviously you're going to go for it.
You should have went for it in that situation.
So Aaron throws his coach under the bus saying, that was not my decision about Matt LaFleur.
It wasn't.
Well, okay, but Matt LaFleur counted. I let Aaron call his own play on 3rd down, so you do this. You score on it.
I think the thing is what Aaron is saying, had I known that we're going to kick the field goal and maybe not go for it, because Aaron in his mind, Skip, either way, here's the thing, because he tried to say, well, I just felt we had 4 timeouts because we had the 2-minute warning plus the 3.
LaFleur said that.
That's what LaFleur said. But Skip, you need a touchdown either way. So even if you don't get it, guess what you still have, Skip? The 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, which means you have 4 timeouts. So I don't understand what you thought you gained by doing it that way.
Okay, well, what did LaFleur say? Well, I saw my quarterback throws 3 straight incompletions, and all of a sudden it's 4th and goal from the 8. And I'm not going to – he just said, I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers enough for him to throw a touchdown pass on 4th and 8.
We're going to talk about this a little later. We're going to see how much they believe.
Yep.
We're going to find out.
Well,
we're about to find out some things.
Well, this was the ultimate blame deflection from Aaron Rodgers, the ultimate excuse-making. Don't look at me, look at my coach.
No, Skip. I'm not going to deflect blame. Aaron Rodgers played well, but he didn't play great as a player of his caliber. He didn't play great when he needed to play great. He needed to cash one of those turnovers into 7 points.
Especially against two backup safeties.
And he did, Skip.
And so finally, this game comes down to Tom has to kill the clock just the way Mahomes did at Tampa Bay with the last 4:10, except this is only 2:05 left. And it does get down to LaFleur's credit. Remember, it gets down to 1:41 remaining in the game, and it's a third down play. What is it? Third and 4 from the Tampa 37. And Tom goes to the rookie. He goes to Tyler Johnson, and it's the Kevin King Memorial game because I'm sure Green Bay.
But that's what Tom Brady was scared of. Tom Brady was scared of him, so that's why he missed it.
And he grabbed him not once, or he grabbed him twice. He goes left-hand jersey, and then he switches to right-hand jersey. So it was an ambidextrous jersey pull by Kevin King, and fortunately it came late, but the back judge saw it. And that was that.
But my only thing is, Skip, that was a holding. There's no question about it. But the problem that I have is that they had let him play all day. Lazard had got held several times. They were letting them play.
Okay, but that was ultimate blatant holding.
Skip,
That's a double grab.
Skip, did you see the third down on Lazard?
Did you see all the times the Packers held the pass rush?
Guys, the reality
and Christian
is
Wirth held on the play.
Far from done talking about the game.
No mercy.
What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Shay Sharp. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes is heading back to his second straight Super Bowl after taking down the Bills in convincing fashion. The reigning Super Bowl MVP passed for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Tyreek Hill racked up 172 yards and Travis Kelce caught a whopping 13 balls, setting up a Bucs Chiefs Super Bowl matchup. These two met in Week 12 when the Chiefs were able to pull off a 27-24 win. So, Shannon, how different will this game be?
Well, considering Eric Fisher seems to be out, Skip, and he might be gone. It looked like he ruptured his Achilles.
It looked like it.
That's what it looks like. I was watching Andy Reid go to the sideline and hug him. You don't hug a guy like that, Skip, for a guy that you will believe will be back in 2 weeks.
I agree.
Now, they're already playing the game without Mitchell Schwartz, who's their outstanding right tackle. Now, Fisher, that means they'll move, I believe they moved Remmers from right tackle to left tackle, and they brought the swing tackle in. So, Skip, that's going to be a huge source because what they were able to do last time was neutralize somewhat Shaq Barrett and JPP. Now, Shaq did end up getting home because they were about to blow the game open. Skip, remember, it was 17-0, and Shaq Barrett somehow escaped through and got a forced fumble. It really turned the tempo because I believe it was about to be 24-0, and from that, all intents and purposes, the game would have been over.
Agreed.
So for me, that's going to be the key. Just like yesterday was the key. How much pressure can they generate, Shaq Barrett and JPP? Because, Skip, their interior is really not, they're run stuffers. That's what they do. They clog the middle. They're not going to let you run the football down the middle. And I was surprised that Green Bay kept trying to run the ball down the middle when they were having success on the edge of running the football. But when you got Vita Vea, they probably list Vita Vea at what, Skip, 350? Well, he's been on IR since week 5. What you think he is now? 350 or 370? I'm going closer to 370.
You're probably right.
Big guy, stop the run. All those big guys in there. So they're not letting you run. You got to get to the edge, and normally you do that. The Rams have success running the football with those jet sweeps in a stack or a bunch formation. So for me, that's going to be huge, Skip. How well can they protect Mahomes? If they cannot get Mahomes, Skip, they got no answer for Tyreek.
I agree.
They got no answer for Travis Kelce because those two guys are playing out of their mind. Now, there's a chance they're going to get Sammy Watkins back. He limited in practice this week, but another 2 weeks, he should be good to go. But the Fisher injury, Skip, is huge. Just like the Bakhtiari injury was huge. If they can protect Mahomes, they can go get 30, because it's going to take you 30 to get them, Skip. Because Mahomes averaging 34 points a game and looked like he was on his way again against Cleveland until he got knocked out. They get 30 points so easy come playoff time. And I told you, Skip, I said, we're going to spot them 10. Now, Mahomes made me into a lie because he only spotted them 9. But he had to made the field. He spotted him 10. And
well, Mecole Hardman spotted him 7. Right?
He did.
Yep.
Because I'm not so sure that had they not got that gimme touchdown right there, it might have got ugly a lot sooner than what it did, Skip. But that's my only concern. JPP and Shaq Barrett, how well can the tackles, because they want to stay in scat protection. And people at home, what I mean by scat protection is all the eligible receivers are out in pass routes. That's what they want to do. They want to be in scat protection. But there might come a time, Skip, you might have to keep that back in to help one side or another. And then that's going to free up somebody to drop in pass coverage. But I don't really know how they do it. You play cover 2, Kelsey can get down the middle. You're not playing man. You're not running. I watched the play last night, and he ended up dropping the play, Skip, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Tyreek. I've never seen anything like Tyreek. I've never seen a guy that can run like he can in pads. Skip, I've seen guys. I was on the field. I watched Sam Grady. You know Sam Grady. He won the silver medal in the '84 Olympics next to Carl Lewis. He won the gold medal on the relay team. James Jett, Willie Gault. Skip, I've seen guys that can run. But I've never seen anybody that can run in pads and can shift like this kid can.
I agree.
And his acceleration, and that's what scares you, Skip. You see, he got inside. And when he got, look at this, Skip, ain't nobody else getting up out of this. He can just run like that. So the question is, Skip, can the Kansas City offensive line, can they hold up? You would be foolish, Todd Bowles, to play that man right there, single coverage. You would be out of your mind.
Okay. So, I will be the first to concede, Tom Brady does not have a Tyreek, nor does he have a Kelsey. They just might be the 2 best receivers in all of pro football, and they're both on the same team, targets of the best throwing quarterback in the league, and Patrick Mahomes. The defending Super Bowl champ and the defending Super Bowl MVP has those 2. And that is nightmarish for me to watch that 71-yarder you just showed, because I've never seen anything like that either. Once he's loose, he's just flat out loose, gone. And the speed is breathtaking. And I still haven't gotten over the nightmarish first quarter of November 29th at Tampa Bay, during which Tyreek Hill caught 203 yards worth of balls. Think about that. 203 in the first quarter. Todd Bowles, I don't know how many times I tweeted, how many times I said this. Todd Bowles, what are you doing? Because he put Carlton Davis and man on him and said, we'll live and die with this. No, you're going to die with it. Because it's hard to overcome 17-0 after a quarter. Then, as you said, they did get their score, but it went all of a sudden it went to 27-10 early in the third quarter.
Right.
And I'm thinking, man, they just can't stop them. Then they finally backed off. They finally quit blitzing, and they said, let's just play 2 deep. Let's just, however you want to say it, you call it 22-man, whatever you want to call it. They're going to play Tampa 2, 2 deep with man under. Okay.
We'll let's let cover 3 because Devin White is headed down the middle of the field. Okay.
So that started to click a little bit game, because in the second half, Patrick Mahomes threw for a grand total of 103. So think about the math. He threw for 203 in the first quarter to one man. And then for the last 2 quarters of the game, he threw for a grand total of 103, because they started to settle in and draw a bead on keeping everything under them.
Right.
Nothing cheap, nothing deep. Don't let them get ahead of steam and get past you, because you're dead. And all of a sudden, Brady started to figure out a Kansas City defense that I've said all year, it's just underrated. Because when you have Honey Badger back there, he's the ultimate robber.
Yeah.
He's just like his aptitude, his ability to anticipate is unparalleled to me, and he made their defense. And Steve Spagnuolo, does he not know how to play Brady? Well, he obviously does, because he was the architect of the first Eli Super Bowl Giants defense.
And I think the thing is, Skip, is that what Todd decided to do, he's like, you remember, we discussed it. Patrick Mahomes missed Mecole Hardman. He had him on a route that he thought he was going to hold up, and he threw it behind him, and he would have been gone. That's probably going to be Tyreek in that situation. Skip, but I think the thing is for them is that they're going to try to run the football. Kansas City's defense is built to play with the lead. Buffalo was unwilling to try to run the football other than quarterback scramble.
I agree.
If you get behind them, and that's what they try to do, Skip, if they can race out in front of you, put you down, they take your running game out of their mix, and now they can just play you straight up. The question is, can the Bucs run the football just enough? Skip, they didn't run the football particularly well yesterday, but you see where they got them? They stick the ball in Leonard Fournette's belly, and Cameron Brate's wide open for a touchdown. They stick the ball here, and then Mike Evans.
No, they didn't really run it much at all. He got loose one time for 20 for the touchdown, and that's really the bulk of their yards.
Sometimes, Skip, people think you need to run the ball for 150 to 200 yards to have success. But I just want to plant that seed that I will run it.
Leonard also packs a wallop, so it's not Derrick Henry wallop, but he will start to wear on you because he's about 235 or 40?
Yeah, easy.
Easy? Okay, so November 29th, last 3 quarters, Tom Brady threw for 313 yards. And I told you the day after that game, remember, the time of possession was heavily tilted to Mahomes. He had the ball 37 minutes to only 23 for Tom Brady. So if you extrapolate, if you just look, if you gave Brady the ball for 37 minutes, he would have thrown for 555 yards, which would be the all-time regular season NFL record. But the point is, he just didn't have the football. Maybe they can retilt the playing field by running the ball a little bit more, or maybe they can do it by playing a little more solid defense, and maybe there'll be a couple of more 3-and-outs or 7-and-outs or 9-and-outs without points.
Right.
Okay? So the point was, Brady got hot in the fourth quarter, and he led them on a 75-yard yard drive in 8 plays, and then they went 73 and 10, and he hit Mike Evans both times for touchdowns. And all of a sudden, it's 27-24, Mahomes, with 4:10 left. And you know what happened.
Right.
The Bucs defense hadn't been brought to a boil yet. It needed to make one and only one more play. I believe Brady would have won the game because he was hot-handed if he'd gotten the ball back.
Okay.
We will never know because he did not get the ball back because what did Mahomes do? Well, he scrambled twice for fairly short conversions, but he scrambled for conversions. And then they get to 3rd and 7 at the Tampa Bay 49, and it's the play of the game with 1:15 left, and he hits he sort of rolls left and just kind of flips it to Tyreek, and that's it. That's the ball game. So they couldn't get the ball back for 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, I want to remind everybody what happened after that. That was Tampa's 3rd loss in 4 games. They fell to 7-5, and voila, they got a late season bye week in week 13. Usually you don't have a bye in week 13, right?
No.
But it's a pandemic year. It's a weird year. And all of a sudden, what happened in the bye week? Tom said, we got to fix it. So all of a sudden, this play action got installed. They hadn't been doing any play action. Suddenly, they started running people in motion a little bit because they had time to do it that they had not had time because they had to keep getting ready for these big games against New Orleans and the Rams and then the Chiefs all at home. And they weren't ready. They hadn't arrived yet. They hadn't gelled. They hadn't come of age. Then all of a sudden, guess what happened? They just won 7 straight games. Who knew? And it's been fairly quiet, but in the last 6 of those 7 games, they've averaged 36 points a game. Well, that'll win a bunch of football games, right? So to me, this is a very different Tampa Bay team that started to find itself in the second half, too little, too late, against the Chiefs. But look at what the Chiefs just pulled off. The Chiefs just beat, let's start with the Browns. Pro Football Focus ranks their defense 18th, and then Buffalo's defense by Pro Football Focus is ranked 17th. So they're just mediocre, they're sort of middling defenses, and Mahomes took advantage. And so I get to be up again.
But Mahomes is a different beast in the playoffs.
Oh, I give you that.
You look at his postseason, Skip. I mean,
I got it.
And like I said, he averages 34 points a game, but against the blitz. And Todd Bowles loves the blitz. This kid averaged 97 QBR against the blitz, which is the high. So and like you said, he used his legs sometimes to get out of harm's way and pick up first downs. And when they needed, they threw the ball to Tyreek. That's the question. I'm interested to see how Todd Bowles is going to play them this time around. I'm sure, probably, Skip, if they win this game, JPP or Shaq Barrett will be the MVP because they're going to have to take down Mahomes. They're going to have the type of game that they had yesterday.
They're going to have a Von Miller Super Bowl.
Yes.
Okay? You could be right.
Yes.
Devin White is also capable of doing that.
Yes, it's going to be on the defensive end because, Skip, what we've seen is that this team can go get points so easily.
Okay.
I mean, you don't really normally flip the ball to the wide receiver. He's 8 yards deep, and he goes 50. There are very few teams that have had that kind of speed that on any given play, they're the only team in when people say, oh, yeah, we can go. No, literally, on any given play, they got 2 or 3 guys that can hit their heads on the goalpost.
Okay.
And that's gonna be the challenge for Todd Bowles. How am I going to play this? Am I going to double Kelsey? Maybe they double Kelsey. Maybe they double Tyreek. And we're going to go one-on-one with Mecole Hardman. Maybe we go one-on-one with Marcus Robinson, who played one play and then I didn't see him again. Or Pringle.
All right, so I have an early prediction to make. Tyreek will not get 203 yards receiving in the first quarter. I think I feel pretty good. Want to bet some cases on that?
What about you? Think he might have a $150, 200 in the game, though, Skip?
Well, he had 172 yesterday.
And he dropped the long one.
Okay.
That was the only time, Skip. They've only punted once this postseason.
Okay, I got it. But I want you to think about this. Again, Tom Brady just went through Washington at Washington, New Orleans at New Orleans, Green Bay at Green Bay, all of them top 10, 2 of them top 5 defenses. The Chiefs are not that good. They're underrated on defense, but they're not a top 10 defense. Tom will be able to move the ball. They will be able to run the ball. And to me, I don't think Kansas City will be able to run it much at all because they got Edwards-Helaire back yesterday. And what happened? Didn't he have 6 carries for 7 yards? Was that what it was? It was pathetic, right?
Darren Williams had 52. Mecole Hardman had 1 for 50. That was the bulk of it, Skip. So basically, they had 14 carries for 102 yards, 25 for 114. Skip, you can live with that. But without pressure, I counted yesterday, he had 4 drops also. So really, when you look at his numbers, 29 of 38, it really should have been 33 of 38 and probably a little more yards. It's going to be my only concern for the Chiefs. How do they hold up against JPP and Shaq Barrett? If they hold up, they're going to get 30 plus, and Brady's going to have to match that. Okay,
don't underestimate Ndamukong Suh either. Come to the passer.
But they're mainly run stuffers, Skip.
Yeah.
But they're those guys on the edge.
They can push the pocket too. This is a hellacious pass rush that has come of age.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to have plenty of time to break down what we will be seeing at the Super Bowl. But we need to discuss Aaron Rodgers and what didn't happen for him yesterday. He got the home NFC Championship game that he wanted, but the outcome, of course, was not what he had hoped for. Despite nearly 350 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, Rodgers and the Packers' Super Bowl aspirations were dashed by Tom Brady and the Bucs. Rodgers said the controversial call to not go for it on 4th and goal late wasn't his decision. He also left some questions surrounding his future. So take a listen for yourself.
I'm going to have to take some time away for sure and clear my head and just kind of see what's going on with everything. There's a lot of guys' futures that are, uncertain, myself included. That's what's sad about it most. Getting this far. Obviously, there's going to be an end to it at some point, whether we make it past this one or not. But just the uncertainty is tough, and the finality of it all.
All right, Shannon, what is he really saying here?
He's upset. He said, you drafted a guy, you traded up to get a guy that had no bearing in this offseason. When we could have got a defensive guy, we could have got a lineman, we could have got a linebacker, we could have got a safety, could have got a cornerback. But no, y'all. So now I've got the power again. Convince me that you're going to do what it takes in order for me to come back, or else I won't out. Skip, they took the power last year by going to get a quarterback. Says, okay, Aaron, we're going to do this. But 48-5 is going to be this year's MVP. He now has the power, and he wants those higher Mark Murphy. You're going to have to convince your guy that you're going to build, that you're going to put some pieces in place on the other side of the football.
Or what?
Or I'm going to ask the Houston Texans, or what? That's going to be or what? He has the power, absolutely now.
What if they say, or not?
Okay, would they do it your way? Do it your way. Because, see, when you've made as much money as he can, and that's the thing to Deshaun Watson. See, they probably gave Deshaun Watson a check for $70 million. He said, y'all gonna move me or I set this thing down. I can wait you out. Aaron Rodgers made $100+ million. Show me, convince me that you're going to get pieces around me or I won't out. He has the power. He know he has the power. He's talking like a man that has the power. He's very disappointed. Skip, now, I'm not going to excuse what Aaron Rodgers did in the second half. You got to cash one of those. You got to. And he didn't do it. But Aaron Rodgers is saying, Mark Murphy, remember that phone call that you said you don't want me to be a problem? Don't you be a problem. Don't you be the reason that I pick up that phone call and call my agent and say, start shopping me. Don't you be the reason. That's what he's saying.
So it was so bad for Aaron Rodgers this year. He had so little help that they were the #1 seed in the NFC, right? So how much more help does he need?
What did that #1 draft pick do to help them? Normally when you draft a player, you drafted him to play. So how many snaps did Jordan Love play? How did he help?
Well, obviously, they had decided they needed to move on from Aaron Rodgers because his stats had declined over the last 4 years, and he was the comeback player of the year this year. He had the ultimate bounce-back season because he is the MVP. But that's all he's going to be is the MVP because he's not going to go to a Super Bowl because he played poorly in the fourth quarter. This post-game interview with Aaron Rodgers was the ultimate classic Aaron Rodgers blame deflecting, finger pointing. Don't look at me. Look at them. Look at my coach. I don't know. It wasn't my decision to kick the field goal. Yeah, but your coach said you got to call the play on third down. So
who called? Let me ask you a question. Who called the plays on the first and second down? Who was calling the plays throughout the fourth quarter? You see what he tried to do? Now you keep saying Aaron Rodgers tried to shift the blame, but his coach tried to shift the blame on him. Well, he called the play on the third down. Well, who called the plays on first and second down? Who called the plays throughout the fourth quarter?
All right, fair enough. But Aaron Rodgers ended this interview doing something he'd never done before, according to all the reporters who have covered this team for the longest time. He thanked all the media for all their help and all their diligent reporting during the regular season. And it came across as,
goodbye.
I'm out. That's it for me, my swan song. Baloney. I'm calling baloney on him because it's not a swan song because he's scheduled to make $36.3 million next year, and he's got one more year at almost $40 million, $39.9 million the following year. So he was all but groveling for sympathy yesterday. That's what Aaron was doing, groveling for sympathy from Packer Nation. Oh, woe am I. I just didn't have enough help, and now we got all these guys coming up. Their contracts are due. They could become free agents, and, hey, I'm one of them. No, you're not one of them. But he's saying that his future is just as uncertain as anybody else's, so that all the blame can be deflected off him onto somebody else, whichever way you can put it on, Kevin King or Matt LaFleur.
Well, Kevin King didn't play well, but Skip, you keep telling me, Aaron Rodgers was terrible. Aaron Rodgers was 4-11 in the fourth quarter. Well, Tom Brady was 6-11 with 2 interceptions. Was he any better than the fourth quarter than Rodgers?
No, but he won the game.
No, he won or the defense. You see what you did?
No.
You see what you did?
Did he outplay Aaron Rodgers?
No!
Oh, stop it.
No, he did not.
What were the QBRs for the game?
Look at him.
Huh? What were the QBRs?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Time out. QBR says Tom Brady had a 75, Aaron Rodgers had a 67.
So
I think Tom Brady outplayed him.
I'm trying to understand. Somebody that throws 3 interceptions, has 2 interceptions that are dropped, and somehow he has a better QBR than a guy that throws for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Because he had 6 drops. 6 drops had Tom Brady. And again, I told you his first half, that's the greatest first half he's ever played in all of his playoff life.
So was the second half the worst worst second half you've ever played in his playoff life?
No, I wouldn't say that. He got them home.
Skip, a guy throws 3 interceptions. He's 6-11 in the fourth quarter, and you say, oh, because he got him home, he played well. Really?
Was he playing against 2 backup safeties? No. Aaron was.
The other guy should have been backups.
Did Aaron say one word about I stunk? Did he say one word about I apologize for my play in the fourth quarter? He would never say that. He would take zero blame. He is the ultimate blame deflector.
Let me ask you a question. In all the losses this year, when did Tom Brady say it was his fault?
Oh, he's
when they
often.
when they lost to Tennessee his last game. Did he say it was his fault?
Well,
that he threw those pick six?
That's swan song. That's game over.
Okay, then.
Yeah, but his 5 losses, he always says, "I got to play better."
Okay,
that was my fault.
But why is it that you expect everybody else to say take ownership of a loss, but not Brady?
Well, I expect Aaron Rodgers to take ownership of one loss. He's 1-4 in NFC Championship games.
He did not play.
It stinks.
He played well, but he didn't play great when he needed to.
You can't say he played well when he was 4 of 11 in the fourth quarter. With the money on the table against 2 backup safeties, he was gagging.
Okay, tell me what Tom Brady did in the fourth quarter.
Well, who won the game?
See, that was Skip.
No, but who did? He got the game home.
Skip, you can't
He's
just
playing chess.
So when LeBron James doesn't play well in the fourth quarter and they win, why do you criticize him?
I don't care about LeBron.
But see, now you don't care because you can't have it.
in this conversation. We're talking about the GOAT.
You can't do that. You can't say because he won, he played great when he didn't.
Okay, but he played great enough to put Aaron on his heels the whole game, and Aaron folded right on schedule.
You say the fourth quarter is the money quarter. Yeah. That's what you said. So now it's about the first half. Well, somebody else plays great in the first half, but don't come up well in the second half. You're like, oh, he's not clutch. Now all of a sudden you turn the argument around and says, well, all Brady needed to do was the first half. I'm confused.
Well, first 3 quarters, yeah.
Did he throw an interception in the third quarter?
Late, yeah. He did. So, in the end, you know what this game exposed? It exposed the 2 most overhyped, overrated figures in the National Football League. One is Aaron Rodgers, and the other is Bill Belichick. That's what happened in this game. They both got exposed by Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. That's what happened.
Skip, look, Rodgers had Brady thrown for 350, 3 touchdowns, had a clean game. I could give you that. Skip, he did not play well.
Did you hear one word out of his mouth about, I should have played better? No. All you heard was, I think I might just take my football and go home.
Skip,
I've had enough.
Skip, the defense was outstanding, just like last week. And what I've told you all year, what I've been saying, Tom Brady has put together fractions of games. He played good first half. He played a good quarter. He played a good second half. And because he wins, you whitewash every other bad thing that he did. You said because he won, he played great when he did not.
Boy, I thought at Washington, I thought he played great from start to finish.
No, he did, Skip. Go back and look at it. The game was, he started low, he got good in the middle, and then he finished it, didn't play well.
How do you throw 40 touchdown passes in the regular season?
I'm talking about the post. See, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. Well, how do you, if you throw 40 touchdowns and you are this great, how did you lose a game?
Do you realize that until yesterday, Tom Brady had gone 392 road passes without an interception? But all of a sudden, he says, I got to hit one more big play to save this game.
Hold on. So
one more big play.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You said, now you saying Tom Brady says, I got to hit one more big play to win this game. But on 3rd and 6, when he has Chris Godwin wide open, well, I don't want to make that because I got to worry about a pick 6.
Okay, it's a pick 6 throw. You know that.
You
can see it.
Tom Brady?
Huh?
That's the GOAT?
You want Kevin King to go from GOAT to hero on one throw?
You mean to tell me the GOAT, the most clutch player, he's more clutch than Michael Jordan because he's had more opportunities. Now he's afraid?
Shannon, he had just set up a field goal, and that's all he needed. He knew that's all he needed because he saw Aaron Rodgers was coming unglued, as he always does, with the money pushed to the middle of the table. It's as simple as that. And the diva was on full display after the game. And if I'm Packer Nation, I say, just shut up and we'll see you in training camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he have the power? Does he have the hammer now? Yes or no? It's a simple yes or no. Does he have the power now?
He's going on 38 years of age.
Okay. Now, you're gonna start hearing rumblings. Aaron Rodgers potentially won't out. Now, I don't want to hear you say anything because I know what's going on. I can see this coming. I can see this coming.
He doesn't want to go anywhere else.
Okay.
He wants to end it there.
Okay.
Yeah. He's already been talking about, I'm on the back 9. I can see the end. Brady says, I want to play 3 more years.
Didn't he say it's, I can, looking at the guys around, he see Brady leave. He saw Peyton Manning leave. He saw Joe leave. He said there's a possibility that I might have to finish my career as well. He's come to grips with that.
Well, that's when it looked like they were going to push him out the door.
Okay.
All right. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. You guys seem to have read a lot into what he was saying after the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays out.
No mercy. Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy.
Well, Tom Brady had nearly a perfect first half in the NFC Championship with just over 200 yards through the air and a pair of touchdowns, including a 39-yarder right before the half. He would pick up another touchdown and 78 more yards in the second half, but was also picked off 3 times. Regardless, the 43-year-old quarterback still managed to hang on for the 31-26 win. So, Shannon, what letter grade would you give Mr. Tom Brady?
I gave him a D, which is passing.
A D?
Yeah, I gave him a D. Because he played well. He's played well in the first half. When I look at it, he played worse in the second half than he played good in the first half. And the defense was outstanding. They had gifted him a touchdown. They took the ball away from the Packers right away and gave him a short field. I think it was on the 8-yard line, one play in the end zone. And then they scored 3 points the rest of the way. In the second half, Skip Bayless keep telling you Aaron Rodgers was terrible. Aaron Rodgers was terrible. Well, this is what Tom Brady's numbers were in the second half. He was 7 of 14 with 3 interceptions. That's what Tom Brady was in the second half. Brady is the only quarterback in the last 20 seasons to throw 3 interceptions in the second half and still win the ball game. That's how rare what he did was. So even though he threw 3 interceptions, Jim, did we got any of that footage? It really could have been 5. Because the throw before he threw to Scotty Miller, that ball should have been picked. Do we got that, Jim? We ain't got that. Because I want to know, because, he knew. But see, what he knew the guy was going to drop it, so that's why he threw it. That should have been a pick. That should have been a pick. Look at this. That should have been a pick. That would have been number 4. And then he throws one down the hole. I don't think we got that one. The one that Chris Godwin caught down the middle of the field, there was no reason for him to throw that ball because that single high safety, there's a safety in the hole. Chris Godwin makes an unbelievable play on the ball. Give Chris Godwin credit. So for me, Skip, at the end of the day, look at this. There's no way he should. There's a whole safety. You don't throw that. Give Chris Godwin credit. But Skip Bayless is going to say that was Tom Brady because, that's Tom, That was a bad read. Whole safety, you don't throw that ball, but he did. And Kansas City. I understand how I played in the league 14 years, and I know a lot of times we see white receivers come in the game, we think possession, we think slot. When Scotty Miller comes into the game, he's a burner. They're looking to get him down the field. So don't you underestimate what he is. If you notice, he probably has gotten more go balls thrown than probably Mike Evans, Skip. Now, they don't always get complete. Sometimes they get a pass interference, which is just as good as a catch in some situations. Don't underestimate this dude. I don't know what Kenny King was thinking, but Skip, he passed. But Skip, he was horrible in the second half.
By the way, who was the first to bring up little Scotty Miller soon after Tom Brady signed with Tampa Bay? And somebody across the table from me laughed when I brought up little Scotty Miller. Oh, yeah, what? He's another little Amendola type? Right. I said, nope, he's not. He runs 4.3, and Tom will fall in love with little Scotty Miller. I was the first set. He'd only caught like 6 or 7 balls the year before from Jameis. But he can fly. 7th-round draft pick out of Bowling Green. And he's exactly what Tom will say. I like his guts. I like his heart.
Right.
He wears his eye black. He does X's under, like for it's like pirate eye black. Right?
He thought of the day. He got the X on.
He's got it throwing up the X. And the point is that he is Amendola or Edelman with serious speed.
Yeah, they could never run like this.
Okay, so on that play in question, they go, as I recall, I think it's trips left. So all of a sudden, it's hard to defend because Kevin King gets stuck on him and man, and he just run. It was like an angled go route where he angles past him.
Yeah, he's running a rail.
Yeah.
He's gonna get to his point from a tight position.
And then all of a sudden, once he goes, and again, they think Brady's playing for a last-second field goal with an 8-yard completion with 1 second left, and that's the end of that deal. And Brady, who has Shannon Sharpe says he's lost a lot of his arm strength. I don't know how he does this. He just puts all these balls right on the money.
I feel very comfortable in saying that was the second worst defensive call of the season behind Greg Williams' bomb blitz.
Okay. So, first of all, I'm going to give your D an F, and I'm going to dismiss it or qualify it or unqualify it as just straight Brady hate, because this is the man you have said for 4 straight years should just go home and stay home.
What about the second half? Are you going to do anything about that?
I'm going to give Tom Brady for his effort yesterday an A-, and I will give you the minus because of one bad interception in the second half.
Are they good interceptions?
But I'm going to say it again. The first half set the tone, the circumstances, the degree of difficulty is this is Aaron Rodgers on his turf, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. All we heard all last week was, I finally got my dream to come true.
Yes.
I got a home NFC Championship game, and no quarterback in the history of this league had ever gone more regular season games without a home NFC or AFC Championship game than Aaron bleepin' Rodgers. So he got what he wanted, and all of a sudden Brady and his defense is down both safeties. So you have 2 backup safeties through the second half.
Like Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu. Stop it.
Well, hey, Antoine Winfield Jr. is the equivalent up to that defense because he became the quarterback, the leader, and the playmaker. Who made the play of the game at New Orleans? Antoine Winfield Jr., a rookie second-round pick from Minnesota whose father was a really good NFL player. Okay, so Tom Brady yesterday, I counted 6 drops, but if you want to give him 5, but the one that stuck in my craw was the one at the 5-yard line that Mike Evans had right there. I just think Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Famer, is going to catch that ball.
Well, Skip, it's
6 feet 5 inches tall.
But Skip, it's hard to run full speed and be able to jump like that. Now, if it was like, if he could have gathered himself, sure. But you have to understand, Mike Evans is running full speed. You can't jump as high running full speed as you could if you're under control.
Unless you gather yourself and make a play for it. I did not think he made a good play for the ball. He's
running with Tom zipped it. Give Tom credit. Tom had some juice on it. But I don't think that was just a bad throw, Skip.
I don't think it was a bad throw. I thought it was a catchable throw. What do you always tell me? If a man puts 2 hands on a football, you should catch it. It hits him in the hands, and Tom is trying to throw it where the 6'5" guy can catch it. And it's just bad luck that it goes right through both hands. He got both hands on the ball, and Jair is just sitting there. That's just a bad luck interception.
Hell, at first I thought he was throwing it to Scotty Miller. You see Scotty?
No, I didn't. I thought it was to Mike Evans, and it could have been ball game. If you catch that, it could be game over at that point.
Because when Brady threw it, he started jumping. So I'm like, okay, are you jumping because you threw it high or you missed through it?
Okay, so I told you the first interception that he threw was just a jump ball where he's just saying, I got to make a play. Aaron's going to make a whole lot of plays against my 2 backup safeties, so I got to make a play. I'm going to throw Mike a jump ball. And I think going to the Super Bowl, they can't throw Mike as many jump balls. I don't see as many. They're also looking for a pass interference because Jair's got him single coverage.
Skip, if you don't mind me asking, why would he do that when his defense is down? He need to take it upon himself to say, you know what, Aaron is going to make these plays when Aaron had not made any plays up until that point.
I told you they had just lost Jordan Whitehead, the other safety. So you're down both your safeties, and your quarterback is not there of your defense.
I get all.
He's just saying, remember, he's the ultimate game manager. If that's what you want to call him, that's usually a derogatory term, but I'm using it as chess over checkers. He's saying, I got to make one more big play. We need a pass interference.
Why?
I need to throw it up so that Mike can get a pass interference on Jair because that's what happens when you're 6'5" on 6 feet.
Skip, you see the excuses that you make? The man throws the interception. Instead of you saying that it was a bad read, a bad throw, you said he did this because he was worried about what Aaron Rodgers might do, considering Aaron Rodgers hadn't done that to this point.
So could we see all the drops that Tom Brady suffered through yesterday and never lost his poise or cool? Aaron Rodgers would have lost his mind on these 5 drops if we could see them. Here we go.
Devontae dropped a touchdown.
He didn't.
Yes, he did.
Oh, thank you, Leonard. We got to catch that.
Yeah, that would have been tackle for a loss. That was a good thing you dropped that one.
Okay, Leonard, you got to catch that. You got to catch that. You just got to catch that. Those are drops. Drops. Oh, what? Chris Godwin, you got to catch that. You ranked number 1 last year.
That was a drop.
Chris Godwin.
That was definitely a drop.
And then Mike Evans. Mike, what are you doing? I got to tell you, the stage got a little too big for Mike Evans yesterday. It just did. He's losing balls in the air. He can't find them. These are jump balls. These are throws where you got to make the play. Make the play.
If a quarterback throws the ball and the guy sticks his hand out there, you can't automatically assume everybody's going to make an Odell Beckham catch on every throw.
Was that last one to Mike Evans requiring an Odell Beckham?
No, I'm just saying. But I'm saying, come on, Skip, let me ask you a question. Is Leonard Fournette known for his hands?
He's been really good this year. Yes. He's caught a bunch of big. He caught the big. They went for it on fourth down before this got. He made a nice catch. It hit him right there, but he caught it.
If you saying he's
caught some touchdown passes.
If you say he's throwing that to Alvin Kamara, I'm gonna say, okay, Skip, you're right. Kamara needs to catch that. But I'm not looking at Leonard Fournette as a receiver of the football. Can he catch? Yeah, he'll catch a few. But normally they're like screen plays and plays that are, right there. No, I'm not looking at that. But Skip, you can't do that. Tom Brady made terrible decisions on several plays. He got bit 3 times. A couple other times he could have gotten bit. You can't do that.
As I told you, Tom Brady simply played the greatest first half of his playoff career. He set the tone for the game. He cashed the turnover with 1 play in the red zone at 1st and goal at the 8.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it's 28-10. And because of all that body of work, QBR said he had a 75 for the game, which is very good, scale 0 to 100. Aaron winds up with a 67 because he fell apart in the fourth quarter in which he was 4 of 11. So if Tom Brady deserves a D, then you got to give Aaron what, an F?
So let me ask you a question.
You're going to give him an F?
So Aaron Rodgers fell apart in the fourth quarter because he was 4 of 11. Tom Brady was 6 of 11 with 2 interceptions, and he got an A.
He got him home. Did what he needed to do to win the game.
Did he get him home or the defense get him home?
Well, the defense, you know what? You would know this better than anybody because you rode some coattails to your 3rd Super Bowl ring, right? Ray Lewis's defense. Yeah. Everybody who wins a Super Bowl, everybody needs a good defense. It just doesn't happen without a good defense. It's hard. Even the St. Louis Rams, that defense was hellacious good. They led the league in turnovers forced.
Yeah.
Okay? So, yeah. He's helped. It's his leadership. His presence has helped bring the defense to a boil.
But the thing is that through that hellacious defense, nobody was saying Trent Dilfer is playing out of his mind. Trent Dilfer deserved an A. Trent Dilfer had no turnovers.
I know, but you're winning games 7-3.
Yeah,
right?
Yes,
okay.
But that's my point, Skip. What I'm saying is that when Tom Brady makes a mistake, call it a mistake.
I said he threw 1 bad interception. That last
3 bad interceptions.
The last one is terrible because he's got a blitzer in his face, and he just heaves it up, and it's 3rd and 2, and he just heaves it for Mike Evans thinking, save me. And Mike's not there yesterday. He wasn't there. Caught 3 balls for 51 yards in the end. Won the early touchdown.
No mercy.
Well, Tom Brady is heading to another Super Bowl. Brady started out hot, passing for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half and a 21-10 lead. 3 second-half Brady interceptions allowed Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to make it a 1-score game, but they opted to kick a field goal with 2 minutes left instead of going for it on 4th and goal and never got the ball back. Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick is joining us now. Mike, crazy games. I want you to tell me about this one. What was the biggest reason the Bucs won here?
Look, the biggest reason the Bucs won, I will say, is, the pass at the end of the half, the pass to Scotty Miller. That was Tom Brady just undermining the Green Bay Packers defense. Now, Green Bay in that moment, they was thinking field goal. They was thinking that Tampa Bay wanted to try to get a field goal, but Tom, being the GOAT, and this is the reason he's the GOAT and the greatest of all time, he recognized the man coverage. He recognized what they was trying to do, and he snuck one in. It was like throwing a Hail Mary, but it was throwing a Hail Mary within a concept, and the concept was Scotty Miller one-on-one with King. He recognized it, and they beat him, and I think that put him in maybe a 10 or 12-point deficit at the time. But it was tough to overcome. When you get down in a championship game like that, it's hard to make up points. It's hard to make up ground. And this is the best of the best, two of the best teams in the NFC. So when you have a play like that, that's deflating. It's hard to come back from. Now you got to come back and score 14 points in a game like this just to get back into the game. And Aaron Rodgers, they wasn't built for it yesterday. The Tampa Bay Bucs defense played great, and that was the story of yesterday's game. So if I pinpoint any moment in that game that was the turning point or the breaking point for Green Bay and the turning point for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it was that play, and all the defense had to do was hold on from there.
Well, that was a big play. And my thing is, even though you're thinking about getting a field goal, why would you play single high safety? Even if you are worried about a field goal, why would you play single high? Why would you play man coverage? Why not just play cover 2? Why not just play?
Don't you think that?
Yeah, why not play?
They're thinking he's going to throw an 8-yard out so they can have a last second field goal.
That's why you play cover 2 in sync. Therefore, you make them because the only way to get it in behind you, what are they gonna have to run? They're gonna have to run a shake route or a circus route, right? Well, you really concede the flat.
That's their fault.
Huh? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I blame Mike Pettin. You would never call a single high safety in a situation like that, knowing that. But that's neither here nor there. I believe the reason why they won the game, Mike, is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense was outstanding when they needed to be outstanding. The difference is you look at what they did with the 2 turnovers that they got. Tampa forced Green Bay to 2 turnovers. Their offense gives them 14 points. Green Bay's defense forced Tampa into 3 turnovers. They get 6 points. Now, Skip, Devontae Adams dropped a touchdown with the back shoulder. I called it. I was like, in this defense right here, throw the back shoulder. Aaron throws the back shoulder. Tay doesn't get his head around quite quick enough. He drops it. They end up having to settle for a field goal. But when I underestimated, Mike, the pressure that JPP and Shaq Barrett could get. I think what I did is that I overvalued the great job that they did against the Rams. But realizing the Rams is not an edge rush team. They're interior rush team led by Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was not Aaron Donald that we're used to seeing throughout the entirety of the season. So if I had to point to anything, it's the defense. They bowled their backs when they needed to. 4 times inside the 10-yard line, and you don't get a tub? You got to. If he cashes one of those turnovers, Mike, I believe we're having a different story this morning. Give Todd Bowles, give that defense credit because they showed themselves when they absolutely had to.
I agree.
My turn. I'm going to say this one more time on this show. It boils down to there's just one man in sports I don't bet against when the money gets pushed to the middle of the table, when the stakes are highest. That game boiled down, to me, to one team. The visiting team had the GOAT, and the home team had the guy I call the phony GOAT, the guy Shannon Sharpe tries to tell me is better than Tom Brady. And that phony GOAT, to me, in the fourth quarter, got exposed because he came up small on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And I agree with what Michael said, that the shock play of the game, the one that hit Green Bay right between the eyes, if not right in the heart, was the play of Scotty Miller at the end of the half. And I've been trying to warn Shannon Sharpe about Scotty Miller since the offseason. He can flat out fly. I'm not saying he's Michael Vick, but for a little white guy, he can flat out fly. And maybe it is white guy syndrome where Kevin King said, he's a white guy. And maybe on tape, he doesn't look like he's that fast. He can fly.
No, he look like he's running.
He's 4'3".
He look like, Mike, you can look at him, he's digging. When he comes out, he's digging.
Okay, and some little white guys can't snag it after they're running 4'3" 40s down the field, but he can catch it.
Yes.
He's a gutty little catcher. He will go for the football and come up with it, and Brady trusts him in situations like that. And I agree, Brady bamboozled them at the end of the half, and that set the tone. That ended a first half that I have called Tom Brady's greatest first half of his playoff life. He set the tone for his football team by throwing for 202 in the first half that we're not backing down to these guys. In fact, we're going to punch them right in the mouth, and we're going to see if Aaron can get back up off the mat and stand up to us, to our defense in the fourth quarter, and he could not. Obviously, protection was it yesterday, and the Packers could not protect Aaron Rodgers. That 4-man rush without much blitz, I didn't see a lot of blitz. I don't have a coach's tape, but I didn't see a whole lot. I think they just said, we can get there with 4. And Shaq Barrett, who led this league in sacks last year, he hasn't had that great a regular season this year, but JPP came back to life yesterday, and those two, and Aaron is starting to flinch a little bit, and I don't blame him because they are coming from both sides, and it's like an avalanche of 6'5" humanity on him play after play, and he goes down 5 times, the most he's been sacked all year. Tom Brady's line has gelled and clicked and come together like Fort Knox around him. He just went down 1 time yesterday. And what's happened over the last 7 games? They won 7 in a row since the Kansas City game at Tampa Bay. 7 in a row. What are they doing? They're protecting him like crazy. What do you always say? If you give that man time, he'll figure you out. And he got them in the first half. And then early in the third quarter, what happens? They get the turnover because they've been a turnover machine. That's what happens when these teams get on a Super Bowl roll. And they get one, and unfortunately, the safety who caused it was soon hurt and gone. But they get the turnover, and it gets to ominously 1st and goal at the 8-yard line, which became the play of the game for Green Bay going the other way late in the game. But what happens on 1st and goal at the 8? Brady just goes under center play action to Cameron Brate for a wide open touchdown.
And I don't know what Amos is looking at. That's
I don't
his guy.
either. I don't either.
He has a tight end, Mike, and the guy's coming right to you. What you looking at?
Okay, so that makes it 28-10 because he cashed. He went 2 for 2 in the red zone, and Aaron ends up going 2 for 4. That's the football game.
Yes.
So then we flip it around, and it's 1st and goal at the 8, late in the game. You got to cash one of them. You just got to cash one. It's 1st down. I don't know what, if we could see him in a row real quick. It's 1st down. I don't know what this is. He just zings it, and Lazard's not
Mike, it looked like to me they were going to run the screen. They're going to run the
This was the look. It was a play. I think this is the play right here.
Yeah, with the run play.
Aaron could have ran.
Yep.
Aaron could have ran.
Yes.
Could have changed the dynamic.
It would have.
You know.
Again, Mike,
I
don't know if he could have scored, but even if he gets to the 2 or the 1, what's going to happen? They're going to go for it.
Skip, if he can't score, if he can't score from here, he needs to retire.
Well, I don't know.
Got to trust his instincts.
Yeah.
But look, when I look at this game too, and I think you guys talked about it, after the 2 turnovers from Brady, I'm thinking that was Rodgers' opportunity right there to lead the charge. That was his moment.
Yep.
And the game was defined in those 2 drives, and they couldn't finish. And like you said, hats off to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Aaron Rodgers, he'll sit back and he'll watch this game over and over again. He'll contemplate what happened. And, and he'll be extremely upset because he had an opportunity to win that game and put the team in a position to win.
Because think about it, Skip. They had scored touchdowns. Remember, Aaron came to the side and said, you got to get a stop.
He did.
They got to stop. And he goes 3 and out twice. That's the difference. And that's what I'm saying. I believe Rodgers played well, but he didn't play great in the big moments when he really needed to be Aaron Rodgers, the MVP this year. He didn't have that. He didn't play then.
He had to go to the other side. I mean, what can you do?
Hold on. I'm talking about him. Hold on. What does Tom Brady being on the sideline have to do with Aaron Rodgers going against the defense?
At the end of the half, showed Tom Brady's prowess and why he's the greatest quarterback to ever line up.
Mike, you come with single on 8 seconds on the clock. Why would you ever play single high safety? Second of all, Aaron Rodgers had just scored 2 touchdowns back to back. They give him back-to-back turnovers. What does Brady have to do with that?
Ain't got nothing to do with Brady.
But you just brought it up to me. He playing the GOAT. What does the GOAT? He on the sideline.
Yeah, well, listen, if you want to be the baby GOAT, in that moment, that was your op.
That's what you make it. That's my point. That's the only thing I'm saying is that in that moment there, that's when he has to be the MVP. And he came up small. 2 straight 3 and outs when you had just scored back-to-back touchdowns and the defense gave you back-to-back turnovers. If you want to be the man on the center stage, grab the mic and do your thing.
Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
How did Tampa even get to that moment at Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers? It's because they signed the GOAT in the offseason. It's as simple as that. And he prevailed, and he's back in the Super Bowl for a 10th time.
So let me ask you a question. If the defense had played like they played against New Orleans at home,
they were horrible. They were horrible much of the year. Okay, but I told you in December, he brought the whole team to a boil. He showed them how this is done. They go on the road against Washington, at New Orleans, at Lambeau.
Washington.
Super Bowl.
The best thing that happened for Tampa Bay, the best thing that happened for Tampa Bay was them not resting their starters after they clinched the playoffs. They stayed in rhythm. They stayed high.
No.
And that's the reason they was able to go on the road and win 3 straight. They knew the road that was ahead. They knew it was going to be tough.
Mike, why would you rest your starters and lose and possibly be the 6th seed and have to go to Seattle as a play and be the 5th seed and go to Washington? Why would you rest them?
Some would.
No, they would not.
No, man,
hold on.
listen,
You
gotta get help.
Would a backup with the place Alex Smith or a second-year guy was Hinkie?
Well, all we talked about was their pass rush that week. All we talked about was the pass rush, getting to Brady. I'm going to recollect everything. We talked about all that, and we was a little nervous.
I talked about Alex Smith.
Or walk in the park.
I talked about Alex Smith. The man was on one leg, and then Philly gifted him a win.
I was hurt. Yeah,
exactly.
Still.
But you thought I was going to take Washington with a gimpy quarterback over Tom Brady.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes is heading back to his 2nd straight Super Bowl after taking down the Bills. The reigning Super Bowl MVP will have to get through Tom Brady this time if he wants to hoist the Lombardi Trophy again. These two met Week 12 and combined for 805 passing yards and 6 TDs. The Chiefs were able to escape that one with a 27-24 win. Michael Vick is still with us. So, Mike, how different will this game be?
I don't see this game being any different. I think it's going to be an offensive affair. I think, when you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how they hit their stride over the last 6 or 7 weeks, I think they carry that momentum into the Super Bowl just like they did yesterday. And the Kansas City Chiefs, the team speed is uncanny. Like, if I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm starting to watch film today. Because if you want to win this Super Bowl, you're going to have to stop Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, McCall Hardman. I mean, every single guy that exists on that offense who, make their presence felt. And then you got to worry about 15. So while I say this is the GOAT versus the big GOAT versus baby GOAT, we couldn't have had a better Super Bowl this year. For everything that we've been through in the state of the game and football in 2020, why not have a strong finish with Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes? And, it's a treat, in terms of, just football, period. But the offense is going to have to show up. The defense is going to have to show up. And, certainly both offenses. And I think, when it all comes down to it, it's all about, can the Buccaneers stop number 15?
Can we swap CBS? We'll give the Super Bowl. We'll give them 57, Skip. We take 55.
Yeah, I'm game.
Man, this is unbelievable.
Although we couldn't actually go to Tampa, we probably have to
But that's
stay
okay.
here.
That's okay. We just want it.
Yeah.
We just want it, Skip. Because, you got Brady, you got Mahomes. I don't think you can have anything better than this. Mike, the way I see it is this. Kansas City lost Eric Fisher last night. Looks like he has an Achilles injury and he's done for the season. Now, they're already playing without Mitchell Schwartz, who's one of the premier right tackles in all of football. So I believe they're going to move the right tackle, Remmers. If I'm not mistaken, Skip, I was trying to see. I don't know if I saw it correctly. But I think they moved Remmers, the right tackle, to left tackle, and then they brought the swing tackle in off the bench. The key to this ball game, how well can they protect Patrick Mahomes? If they give him protection, I don't see how they stop him. I see them getting to, it could be a shootout, Skip. It might be a 38-41, a 45-41 type of ball game. If you cannot get pressure on either of the quarterbacks, it's going to be it's going to be one of those, it could be the highest scoring Super Bowl in NFL history.
Good.
But pressure is going to be the key, because what we thought, and I'll be the first to admit, I thought the Green Bay would do a better job of protecting Rodgers. JPP and Shaquille Barrett, they ate. They had a sole purpose in mind, and they could not keep Aaron. Was basically, he got hit 22 times, pressure 22 times. I think he got hit the most of his NFL career. That's going to be the key again, Skip, because we know what Mahomes, if you give him time. The problem is that when you blitz him, he has a 97 QBR against the blitz. Skip, that's unheard of. Perfect is 100. So basically you said, man, I just hope he's off. To beat Kansas City, you need to possess the football, Skip. You get into the red zone. Buffalo made the mistake. They had 4 trips into the red zone. They got 1 touchdown.
You got to go for touchdowns. What are you doing, Sean McDermott? You just trying to make it look respectable?
You got to get touchdowns. You can't, because he's going to get touchdowns.
What are you doing?
Possess the ball, get in the red zone, score touchdowns, and you got to hope Mahomes is having an off day. Yesterday, Skip, he was in his bag. He was on.
Yeah.
They're not. even if they get those touchdowns, so now maybe you make it a 45, you're not beating him yesterday because he was on. And that's the key. JPP and Shaq Barrett, can they get home on Mahomes? If they can, Tom Brady's going to win number 7. If they can't, Mahomes going to be back-to-back champ.
All right. Okay, allow me to tell you why I give Tom Brady and company a shot in this game. I believe the Buccaneers are much better than they were on November 29th that afternoon in Tampa Bay against Kansas City. I do not believe that the Chiefs are any better than they were that afternoon because it's hard to get much better. They just are the Chiefs. So they are who they are. They are who I thought they were. And they will bring all of their firepower to bear against this defense. The defense got much better. I thought the Buccaneers started to find themselves and to start to come together and lift off actually in the second half against Mahomes on November 29th because, remember, Mahomes only threw for 103 yards in the second half because finally Todd Bowles said, I give up, I back off. I don't exactly know what they call it. It's just a cover 2. It's just two-man, what do you call it, 22-man?
22-man.
You're just playing man underneath with 2 deep safeties, and you're saying you're not going to do that anymore because Tyreek caught 203 yards versus of footballs in the first quarter. 203 yards receiving in that's impossibly bad because they put Carlton Davis on him single and just said, do it. Hang in there.
Why would you put anybody on a single?
You just can't.
Tre'Davious White found out last night.
Okay, because they tried to blitz him, and the corners have to stand up, and they can't. Tyreek is
uncomfortable.
He's off the charts great. I've never seen, as Shannon said, you've never seen a man faster in pads.
In his pads, Mike, I've never seen anything like him. I've never, because he normally, Skip, when you look at track guys, they're frail. You look at the way track guys are built. Yeah. They're thin.
He's stout.
In his legs, so he's explosive. Look at this. Tre'Davious White is right there in front of him.
He looked faster yesterday.
He did. And listen, Travis Kelce, don't tell me he's a tight end. He's just a wideout. I don't know what he is, but he's unguardable. This is unguardable.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom Brady doesn't have Tyreek or Kelce. He just doesn't. But what happened after this game? Brady got hot in the second half and brought him all the way back to 27-24. And you can't tell me that for a still young team that went 7-9 a year ago, it mattered that they actually got back in the game just the way they got back in the game and beat Aaron Rodgers at home in October. It matters to them. They're going to step on the field saying, well, we played them pretty good last 3 quarters. So they'll have some confidence. But their bye week didn't come until after this game. It was very late, week 13. They fixed a lot of junk in their offense because they installed some play action passes. They installed some motion that wasn't there. They gave Tom Brady back the offense and took it away from Bruce Arians. It became more of a Brady attack. Okay. So all of a sudden, out of the bye, they took off. The offense took off and the defense took off. And they won 7 straight games. They went to Washington and beat the number 2 yards allowed defense and went to New Orleans and beat the number 4 yards allowed defense and went to Green Bay and beat the number 9 yards allowed defense. That's pretty good. And over the last 6 games, Brady's offense is averaging 36 points a game. Well, it may take 40.
It's going to need it. But, and also, Skip, can Kansas City pressure Tom Brady? Because he's a different quarterback. He has the 30th QBR when he's pressured. He has the 5th QBR when he wasn't. Well, and I got it. The first half, Skip, they got to him. They got him on the ground, and then all of a sudden, they couldn't get to him anymore. And
they have the firepower to get home. Chris Jones.
Frank Clark. Yep. They're gonna need all of that. But if Mahomes is on his game, it's going to be electric. I can see a 41-38, a 45-40-something type ball game, Skip, because both of these offenses now, if they're good to go.
Yep. So I think Tampa will get both of its starting safeties back in time for the game. And I'm guessing Tampa will get Antonio Brown back in time for the game. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because maybe you have too much of a good thing at receiver. Maybe it sort of clarified itself without Antonio. Right. But the point is that Tyler Johnson, that rookie, he just keeps making big catches.
Make big plays. But it's going to be interesting. I just want to see what Todd Bowles. It's going to be interesting to feel out the first 15, Skip. What's Todd Bowles playing? How am I going to defend this? I don't see him playing cover 1. I don't see him playing cover 1.
First 30, Shannon.
The first 30 plays.
The first 30, because Look, Andy Reid's advantage over a lot of coordinators in this league, some of them he worked with, he know them very well. My first game with Andy Reid, my first start in Detroit, he told me exactly how they was going to play me. And yes, he's going to have some missing offensive linemen, but he does everything to negate that. And I think that's the reason he's one of the greatest to ever coach, because he sees things before it happens. He knows exactly how they're going to play you, and he knows how to expose you with the team that he has assembled. So, while I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing great offense, I think their defense is going to have to be better because Andy Reid knows these coordinators well, and he knows how to get away with a lot.
They got to protect Mahomes. JPP and Shaq is going to be the key. You got to block those two guys. Without that, Mike.
Yeah. Got to get some pass rush.
By the way, one last quick.
They got to get some pass rush.
I just read that their right guard, Andrew Wiley, went down and out with a knee injury early in the second half. I don't know their line well enough to know, but that could be another blow.
Yeah, I think, but he came back in.
Sure?
I saw him come back in. He might have went out again.
Even still losing two offensive linemen, it just disrupts the chemistry.
No, but you got protection.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it disrupts the chemistry. Those guys have to know one another and know how each other think. Just can't put guys together and ask them to block a scheme. It just don't work that way.
Right.
So important to have that chemistry. Mike, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
No mercy.
Tom Brady continues to add to his legacy, even at 43 years old. He now has an NFC Championship to add to his trophy case in just his first year with the Buccaneers. Brady is also making history by being the first team to play in the Super Bowl in their home stadium as he goes for his 7th ring, which is pretty unbelievable what Skip was saying all season. But Shannon is getting the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl, Brady's greatest achievement.
Skip, I'm going to say no, but I'm going to say it's a top 5. I believe the first Super Bowl, beating the Rams when he's a 14-point underdog, although he did come in as part of the second game. So basically he had 14 starts leading up to that. I'm going to say 2004, Skip. He went on the road and beat a 15-1 Steelers team. The 28-3 comeback. In the Super Bowl, do I need to say anything? And this is your favorite, beating the Legion of Boom with that historic fourth quarter that he had against that team. Skip, this was unbelievable. The reason why I don't give this as much credit, Skip, is because I believe the offensive team that he's playing with currently is his most talented team that he's had in his 21-year career. If you look at it, skill position from top to bottom. If you look at defensively, now, Skip, he doesn't have the names. Ty Law was on the early teams. Willie McGinnis, Richard Seymour. They're not household names because these guys are relatively young. But overall, I think this might be one of Tom Brady's offensively. There's no question in my mind. This is the most talented team he's been a part of. Overall, I think it's one of the 2 best teams from a talent standpoint. So I don't think this is as great. It's a great accomplishment. But I took some of the credit away because it's so talented. I think the team that he won the first Super Bowl with wasn't as talented as this. Mm-hmm. And to beat Kurt Warner and them, Skip, after, they had Marshall Faulk, who was Offensive Player of the Year. Kurt Warner was a 2-time MVP. Mm-hmm. All those Hall of Famers. Marshall's in the Hall of Fame. Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame. Orlando Pace is in the Hall of Fame. Isaac Bruce is in the Hall of Fame. And he did that. He outgunned Kurt Warner, who was a 2-time league MVP. So I'm going to say no, but it's definitely top 5.
Okay. I appreciate where you went with this. I had no idea where you were going with it, but you were going single game achievements, accomplishments.
Right. Oh, you wanted a season.
I want to go macro. Okay. I want to go global. Okay. I want to go biggest picture.
Okay.
To me, this is his greatest achievement because of degree of difficulty and circumstances. Remember, Bill Belichick decided he was washed up. Mm-hmm. We've seen stories that whole New England coaching staff decided he was finished and needed to take it home and stay home. You were leaning that direction.
Right.
And he said, no, watch this. And shocked the NFL world by choosing the Succaneers, a franchise not known for winning.
Tom says, I'm not washed up. The talent you got around me is washed up.
That is correct. So he said, I'm going to choose the Succaneers, who have the worst winning percentage as a franchise in sports history. I'm going to choose a team that went 7-9 last year, but a very talented team because the two wideouts both made the Pro Bowl, and one of them, Chris Godwin, was ranked by Pro Football Focus just a year ago, #1 in the NFL. Oh, I can work with that because I think I can talk my guy Gronk to come in with me, and eventually, if he becomes eligible again, I think I can talk my guy AB to coming down to Tampa with me. And bingo, bingo.
Right.
And he knew the defense was good because Todd Bowles is really, listen, Todd Bowles is right up there, top 3 coordinators. Hey, he's really good at what he does. I'd love to see him get another head coaching job. But I know for a fact he's top, I'll say, 5 coordinators.
I want him to get a good job, Skip. I want him to get a job, but I want him to get a good quarterback.
Okay, fair enough. So think about what Brady does. He says, okay, I'm going to choose the Succaneers, but wait a second, I'm in a pandemic. Let's go to the park and throw. So he invites everybody out to the park until they tell him, no, there's a quarantine on. You can't throw in the public park anymore.
Right.
Oh, really? Well, I'm Tom Brady. Well, sorry, you can't do it. And he has virtual OTAs. He has little to no preseason because they don't play a single preseason game, and they get thrown into the fire at New Orleans, their arch rival within the division in game 1, and they get the snot beat out.
Right.
And then here they go, and they start to win some games, and they get to 6-2, which was pretty amazing to me. And then they say, no, Tom says to management, to Bruce Arians, no, we have to add Antonio Brown. Aaron says, I don't like the guy. I had him at Pittsburgh. He won't fit. Remember the quote? He won't fit in our locker room. Tom said, no, I'll make sure he does fit. And he did fit until he got hurt, but they had to fit him into the offensive rotation also. And in that last home game against Atlanta, he threw him 15 balls.
Yeah. In this aspect, Tom Brady is more like LeBron, or LeBron is more like Tom Brady. Because what does LeBron normally do? Get guys, man, JR won't work with nobody, get him. Dwight Howard ain't gonna work with nobody, get him.
Bingo. Okay, I will give you that. So then think of about what he just did. He said, I'm going to show this team, help teach this team how to win. And he's very humble in doing it. It's not like he's diva and looks down his nose at anybody.
Right.
They all love him. They all feel like, we got the GOAT. And he's just like one of us. And then they win the wild card, but only the wild card. So they have to go to Washington against the team that allowed the second fewest yards. Washington, and you said, oh, he might be under some fire from that pass rush because they got 4 first round, they got 5 in the rotation. And no, they cakewalked in that game. And then they go to New Orleans. That's the end of this road against their arch nemesis who had beaten the hell out of them at Tampa Bay back in that night game on Sunday night. Nope, he's got this. Wait, he just beat Drew Brees at Drew Brees? Wait, Aaron Rodgers will in this little pipe dream, right?
Here's the thing, Skip. Now, if you ask me this after the Super Bowl, they win the Super Bowl, then I'm going to tell you yes. Because I'm going to say, hold on, look at what he did. Because I thought Drew Brees had the greatest Super Bowl run. He beat Kurt Warner. He beat Brett Favre. He beat Peyton Manning. But if Tom Brady pulls this off, beating Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, now then, Skippy, you got me. This is his greatest accomplishment to this day.
We get that on tape?
Yeah, you got me.
Okay,
if he pulls this off, Skip, yeah, this is his greatest accomplishment.
Okay, I say it already is because he took that 7-9 team to the Super Bowl. I thought he would. I said it before the year, but it's a long shot to pull it off.
He took the 2001. What they like 5? What they 5?
But he was literally a game manager then because it went all the way to the fourth quarter and it's like shut it down. No, I'll throw a few passes here and I'll get us in field goal. Right. Took a 49-yard Adam Vinatieri field goal to win that. I'm not saying that it was all about Tom Brady because that defense was extraordinary that day in that Super Bowl.
They were unbelievable.
Just unbelievable. That was Belichick's coup de grace. That was it.
It started off, what did Tyler do? Get a pick 6. Changed the whole complexion.
Changed the whole complexion of the game. But to get this team to a home Super Bowl, and I told you from day one, trust me, this guy's looking at no one's ever gone to a home Super Bowl because he can build the GOAT legacy even higher. Yeah. He just pulled it off. Yep. They're going to play at home in a Super Bowl with a team that was 7-9 last year. Do I think Brady's going to get credit for this? I do not. But I do sense this. I think a lot of Brady haters, after last night, I think a lot of Brady haters sat back and said, you know what? I've never liked the guy, and I never will, but I got to give him this.
Oh, you got to give him
that's pretty good.
Because, Kim, and I was telling somebody, and they were like, man, I can't stand. I said, guys, you don't understand how hard it is to get to the Super Bowl. Whew. I played 14 years, Skip, and I was very fortunate. I went to 3 and run them all.
did.
This dude gone to 10 Super Bowls.
10
I said,
Super
you
Bowls.
don't know how hard that is.
He's now 10-4 in championship games. It's just impossible.
I get it. But I said, I said, I already got no hat on, but if I had a hat on, I'd take my hat off to him. You don't know how hard it is to get to that level.
Thank
and to
you.
stay at that level. And he stayed at that level. Yeah, he's had some ups and downs, but, man, 10 Super Bowls?
From you, that's saying a lot. Thank you.
And you guys know that Brady, he's played in more Super Bowls than the rest of his team combined. So 9 for Brady, 8 for his teammates. I mean, experience matters here.
I mean, Brady has more playoff wins than damn near every team have playoff wins. I'm talking about teams, not just...
When you think of what he's doing...
So 33, he got what, 33 now playoff wins?
Mm-hmm.
How many teams got more than 33 playoff wins?
33-11.
No mercy.
The Packers ended up kicking a field goal with just over 2 minutes remaining from the 8-yard line instead of going for it on 4th and goal, a decision that will be second-guessed for years to come. Brady and the Bucs ended up running out the clock and keeping the ball out of Rodgers' hand. And when asked why they kicked a field goal, head coach Matt LaFleur said, quote, "It felt like it was the right decision to do. It just didn't work out." Well, Rodgers was also asked about it. Take a listen.
Well, I didn't have a decision on that one. Yeah, that wasn't my decision, but I understand the thinking above 2 minutes with all of our timeouts, but yeah, that wasn't my decision.
Shannon, what's your take on this? Did Matt LaFleur make the right decision kicking the field goal?
Skip, I didn't second guess it. I immediately tweeted. I'm like, bruh, you need a touchdown either way. And even if you hold them, Skip, you're further away from the end zone than what you are right now. So even if you hold them, Skip, and get the ball back, where you thought you was going to get the ball back? At the 8-yard line again? No, you probably going to have to drive the ball, 65, 70 yards in order to get the touchdown. So for me, it made no sense. Aaron Rodgers was the MVP. And this is something okay, Coach, are we in 4-down territory? Because I'm going to come, because sometimes, Skip, we see people call plays, and the play that they called before lets you know they're going for it on 4th down. So I believe Aaron is thinking, we going for it on 4th down, so I miss it here. We coming back, we're going to go for it on 4th down. So he was surprised as anyone. And I'm like, why are you kicking a field goal? Field goal does nothing for you. You still need a touchdown. And if you stop them, you're going to be further away from the end zone than what you are now. That's why it made no sense to me. So he's like, it just didn't work out. Bro, I just don't, Skip, I don't need to see the analytics. Because everybody, when they do things, the analytics said. I need to know what the analytics said on this one. Because I definitely 100,000 trillion% disagree with the call. Win, lose, or draw. Me, personally, I'm not kicking no field goal. I'm going for Aaron Rodgers, make a play. You might have to roll around, buy some time, and that's what I said, Skip. I tweeted earlier. I said, in order to get this ball in the end zone, I believe Aaron Rodgers is going to have to buy some time. He bought time. I still believe he should have raced him to the corner of the end zone, but I'm not kicking no field goal in that situation.
By the way, win probability, if you went for it at that point, was 10%.
Okay.
If you took the field goal, it dropped to only 9.5% on win probability. So the analytics said slightly go for it, but only slightly. I am with you. If I am at the controls, I am going for it. If I'm the head coach, I'm going for it. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I say we have to go for it. Okay, I got that. But I'm not going to condemn young Matt LaFleur for his thought process here, because they did have effectively 4 timeouts left with the 2-minute warning.
Correct.
And here's his quote. It was just the circumstances of having 3 shots and coming away with no yards, because he was 0 for 3. Right. He missed 3 straight passes. Right. And knowing that you not only need the touchdown, but you need a 2-point conversion. Right. So he's thinking in his head, my quarterback's cold. He's at that point 4 of 11 in the 4th quarter. We just failed on 3 straight pass attempts. And now I not only need to score from the 8, and as you know, from the 8 in that little box, it's just hard to get one in there. Yeah. He's really good at it, and Devontae can be really good at it.
And that's why I felt he would need to buy some time to get people to move around, find some space.
Okay, but not only do you need to convert an 8-yard touchdown pass, 1 shot to get that home or you lose.
Right.
But you also need to do then from the 2-yard line, you need to make another kind of play.
Yeah.
And so LaFleur's head is saying, he's just losing faith in his quarterback. And he says, I have more faith in my defense against Brady right now because, as you said, Brady had struggled. Okay, so my defense can maybe get the ball back in a more advantageous position where we can break one and get a touchdown. Again, I'm not saying I would do this, but I'm not going to condemn this.
So let me get this right. You don't have confidence in Aaron Rodgers that he can get the ball in from the 8-yard line and get a 2-point conversion, but you do have confidence in Aaron Rodgers that he can drive the ball 75 yards and get you a touchdown for the win against same said defense that you said he had been struggling against.
But do remember, just to his credit, they did finally push Brady back into 3rd and 4 left. So there's a lot of time left on the clock. You're in a pretty good spot, but you have to hold on this down.
Right.
You have to stop and make them punt. Now, to your point, if they punt from the 37, who knows
You're
how far
going to be probably inside the 20.
Could be around the 20, somewhere in there, unless you got a return from Tavon Austin.
Right.
I don't know. He's capable, but it would all depend. But it could be, you might have to go 80, 75 yards.
Right.
Okay, I got it. You would have enough time to do it with Aaron Rodgers at the controls.
But you don't have confidence that he can get a touchdown.
That is correct. You don't have confidence. So what happened on that fateful play, Kevin King, who was having an all-time bad game in the first place, he not only grabs Tyler Johnson once, he grabs him twice. He grabbed him left hand and right hand.
But I believe at the angle, if you look at the angle in which he was running, Skip, I don't believe he'd have caught the ball had he not held, because Brady threw the ball up the field and he was flat.
Yeah, but he really impeded him. I mean, he just stopped him cold.
But that was the thing. I heard you got him the first time, not let him go. And you grabbing the guy, tell there's a back judge looking like.
Yet it took the back judge like 3 seconds that felt like 3 hours to finally throw the flag. And I was like, thank you. Game over.
But that's my only. We agree is that in that situation, you go for it because you need a touchdown either way.
Okay, would I have had high confidence in Aaron completing a pass to win, to tie? You'd have to go for 2. I wouldn't at that point. It seemed like it was going south for Aaron. And it seemed like the Bucs were starting to key in and figure out how to double Devontae and just hope for the best with everybody else.
Because guess what, Skip? Tom Brady didn't complete that pass on 3rd down. He got a PI. They got him a first down. So who's to say they don't get a PI and all of a sudden we get 4 more downs?
It's just a hold. It's just you can definitely get one in the back of the end zone because you're grabbing everybody.
Exactly. Aaron Rodgers starting to move around. Guys starting to try to uncover. So who knows?
Maybe.
And how many times, Skip, have we seen a team do nothing on 1st, 2nd down, 3rd down, and all of a sudden they get the touchdown on 4th down? So I can't, my guys, I'm going for it. I'm going to trust Aaron Rodgers. I put the ball in his hand. He's going to be the MVP. Make a play. And if he doesn't make a play, he doesn't make a play. Guess what, Skip? Now you got him back up on the 8-yard line.
You do. You'd have him at the 8 with let's see, if you'd gone for it, maybe 2-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd still be above the 2-minute warning. You might be.
Way above the 2-minute warning.
It's 2:05.
Yeah,
so could you do that? Could you make that throw in 4 seconds? Maybe.
Right. So I just don't get it, Skip. I don't get it. Hey, they made the decision. It shouldn't have come down to that. How about that? How about you get the ball into the red zone, get the ball into the end zone with one of those other turnovers, and then we're not having this discussion.
That is correct. Thank you very much, Matt LaFleur. I'll take it.
No mercy.
After winning a Super Bowl in his 3rd season as a starter, Aaron Rodgers has yet to return to the big game. Yesterday's loss to the Buccaneers was Rodgers' 4th NFC Championship loss in a row and his first at home that he so wanted. He has lost all 4 by an average of nearly 13 points. So, Shannon, did yesterday's game damage his legacy?
It did. It was a home championship game, something that he sought, he talked about, he wanted. Sitting on the sideline in Atlanta, he and Jordy Nelson, he says, we got to get one of these things at our place. Jordy's not there, but Aaron got this at his place. They wanted home field, they got it. They wanted someone to come to Lambeau Field in January, cold, weather, inclement weather. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was their kind of weather. And as I said before, I believe Aaron played good, but he didn't play great in the moments that he needed to be great. And Skip, sometimes that's the difference. Sometimes a great player can have a really bad game, but in big moments, And that's what Tom Brady has done. Tom Brady, in every game, in playoff game, he hasn't always been great. But more times than not, in the big moments when he needs to be great, that's when he can call upon it. That's when he can summon that greatness. And that's what the really good ones can do. And Aaron had an opportunity. He needed to cash one of those, Skip, one of those turnovers. And maybe, there's no guarantee, we could be having the same conversation even if he cashed. But we'll never know. I believe it did. Because if he's lost 4 straight NFC Championship games, that's 4. He's the first quarterback to ever do that. And he's like, I don't really know what else I can do. I mean, I throw 48-5, I get home field, and for the most part, Skip, I thought his defense played well, especially in the second half. They gave you every opportunity to win this game, Aaron, and you didn't come up. You didn't make the plays that you needed to make in the moments that you needed to make them in. So I do believe his legacy took a ding with this one.
I agree, but I'm going to stand on what I've said to you for 4 years on this show. Given the fact that some people try to make the case that Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers showed once again yesterday why he is the most overhyped, overrated quarterback in the history of the National Football League, and it ain't even close. I will give you say he's a transcendent thrower of the football, greatest thrower of the football ever. He's the coolest looking thrower of the football ever, but it's made for regular seasons, not playoff runs. He did pull off one wild card road playoff run. I got to give you that. It was long ago in a galaxy far away. It was 10 years ago, and he did beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl, and I will give you that. But since then, he's 7-8 in the postseason. And as you point out, he's now 1-4 in championship games. And the first one was really shaky because Jay Cutler couldn't go in the second half on a sprained knee, sat on the bicycle at Soldier Field. They were the higher seed, obviously. And here came Caleb Haney and nearly pulled off winning the game against Aaron Rodgers, who really stunk in the second half of that game against Brian Urlacher and a very good Chicago defense.
When we deal with these great players and they get there to a championship games and get to the Super Bowl at such an early age, we just think, man, they're going to do this thing for a long, long time. We saw Brady. We like, man, Brady, dude's 22, 23, and he's already been there twice.
Yep.
We're saying that about Mahomes. We thought the very same thing about Rodgers, Skip. Here it is, his third year starting, and he's in the Super Bowl. We're like, man.
All right, I got it. But when you look at the 7 wins since the Super Bowl, it was, wait a second, it was the Dez caught it game. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was Joe Webb playing quarterback for the Vikings. It was Kirk Cousins at Washington. It was the Odell boat trip game at Lambeau. Really? Then it was the Aaron Donald game just recently where he couldn't go. And again, they did beat last year's Seattle at Lambeau, but that was the same Seattle team that had lost at Dallas in a playoff game the previous year and lost at home to the Rams this year.
Right.
So I'm not impressed with even the 7 wins. And yet, in the end, he went up against the real GOAT twice this year, and he got outplayed twice. So to me, I hope we can put to rest till death do us part, till next year, that Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady, because it's just laughable blasphemy, as you saw on full display yesterday.
Let me ask you a question. So what happens if Mahomes beat Brady? Is he not a GOAT?
Are you going to make the case?
No, just ask it.
Well, that's not the question at hand right now. We should save that because we got 2 weeks of that. And I'm sure you will build up and 2 weeks from today, you will tell me that Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT, right? He might be the GOAT. He's won 1 Super Bowl with a late third-quarter interception and an early fourth-quarter interception at a time he was down 20.
So in other words, he pulled a Tom Brady by throwing all them late interceptions and winning the ball game.
Wait a second. He was down 20-10 while both were thrown. Down 20-10.
Skip, you notice how we spot people? In order to make it fair, because people going to say we cheating. So we spot them 24. Yeah. We'll spot them 10 and then walk them down.
Well, I got to warn you, this is not Jimmy Garoppolo you're playing in this Super Bowl.
We spot Tom Brady.
It's not Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy missed Emmanuel Sanders right at the goal line with a throw that could have changed that game and changed Patrick Mahomes' legacy.
I mean, you think about it. You had 2 chances in the fourth quarter to take the lead. You had 3 shots inside the 10-yard line to tie the ball game in the fourth quarter. You didn't get it. That's Aaron Rodgers now. Skip, if that's hey, Drew Lock or that's some other quarterback, hey, okay, hey, the moment. That's Aaron Rodgers. Bro, you about to be MVP for the third time.
Well, he can win regular season MVPs like crazy, but when it comes to pushing the money to the middle of the table, I'll take Brady every time.
You got to cash those in, Skip.
Yep.
It's as simple. It's as simple as that. I want to get overly confident. It's as simple as that. If you're great in the great moments, you must be great. He wasn't yesterday.
Brady over Rodgers, Jordan over LeBron. Case
Don't do that.
closed.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do
Here
that.
we go.
Don't do that. But
Next question, Jenny.
But what about my homeboy? What about my homeboy?
No mercy.
Josh Allen finished his first AFC Championship appearance with just under 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Allen also had 88 rushing yards, but was sacked 4 times for a loss of 53 yards and had a second interception called back for a penalty on the defense. So, Skip, how did you feel about Josh Allen's performance?
Look, Josh Allen had a breakout season I did not see coming, but I'm sorry, I still don't fully buy in. He's a big man who's a very good athlete for his size. He has a huge arm, but I still don't see the feel for playing the position. I don't see the poise under fire. I don't trust the consistent accuracy. I still think he has a little bit of Carson Wentz in him. Not a lot, but a little bit that I don't trust.
Well, I trust him. I think he made tremendous strides, and I think he's only going to get better, Skip. But at some point in time, you got to stop blowing these leads. He had a 16-point lead against the Houston Texans. He had a 9-point lead. Now, Mahomes, there's nothing. But I just believe, Skip, with Stephon Diggs, they're going to get better. Skip, there was a play in the ball game, and you probably don't remember. I think it was second down, and they swung the ball out to Singletary out of the backfield. He might have scored, and he dropped it.
He did.
And
it looked like nobody was home.
Nobody there. And that's the difference. Sometimes, Skip, now all of a sudden, maybe we're having a different discussion. But Josh Allen was going to need to be Josh Allen of the last 7 regular season games because Mahomes was in his bag yesterday. And so he was going to have to match that. If you're off against Mahomes and he's on, there's nothing you can do.
I'll still take Baker over Josh.
Don't do that, Skip.
Any day.
Don't do that, Skip.
Give me Baker Mayfield. Leadership, playmaking.
No, I'm taking Josh Allen. I'm taking Josh Allen. He's going to be he's here to stay, Skip. He's here to stay. Now, he ain't going to be Mahomes. Now, that's a whole different ballgame. We talking about, that's a whole different level. You talk about GOAT. GOAT. He finna submit that GOAT status.
You think
As a matter of fact, he might retire and go straight to the Hall of Fame. He might be the first player to retire.
We might just do it at halftime of the Super Bowl. Just go ahead and put him in the Hall.
They might be up 31-3.
That is it for Undisputed. Don't worry, we got a couple weeks to preview all things Brady, Mahomes. Great stuff, guys. The herd is on right now. Have a good day, everyone.